Upon reaching the lighthouse entrance, Joseph Mòr found the main gate closed, as was the door to the living quarters. This was not entirely unusual, as the keepers would secure the station against the harsh weather, but the silence was what struck him as profoundly wrong. It was a heavy, expectant silence, the kind that follows a sudden, shocking event. With a growing sense of alarm, he unlocked the door and stepped inside. What he found was not a scene of chaos or violence, but something far more disturbing. A moment of ordinary life, frozen in time, as if the occupants had simply evaporated into thin air. The stillness within the thick stone walls was absolute. The main living area was tidy, yet filled with eerie clues. A clock on the wall had stopped. On the kitchen table, a meal of meat and potatoes lay untouched, as if the men had been called away just as they were about to sit down to eat. One chair was overturned, a single, jarring note of disruption in the otherwise orderly room. It suggested a sudden departure, a hasty exit made in a moment of panic or great urgency. Mòr called out the names of his colleagues, Duckett, Marshall, MacArthur, but his voice was swallowed by the oppressive quiet. The only sound was the faint, lonely chirping of a canary still alive in its cage, the sole living witness to whatever had occurred. Mòr quickly searched the rest of the lighthouse. The keepers' beds were unmade, and their oilskins, the heavy waterproof gear essential for venturing outside in a storm, were missing. This suggested the men had gone out into the elements, but why would all three leave the lighthouse at once? Standard procedure strictly forbade this. One man was always required to remain on duty inside, manning the light. The discovery of the missing oilskins only deepened the puzzle. It pointed to a planned excursion into the storm, yet the untouched meal and overturned chair spoke of an abrupt, unplanned interruption to their daily routine. The relief keeper retreated from the silent tower, his mind reeling. He rowed back to the Hesperus to report his chilling findings to Captain Harvey. A search party was immediately organized, and the men combed every inch of the small, desolate island. They searched the rocky crags and the windswept grasslands, calling out the keepers' names until their voices were raw. But they found nothing. There was no sign of a struggle, no bodies, no trace of the men whatsoever. It was as if James Duckett, Thomas Marshall, and William MacArthur had been plucked from the face of the earth, leaving behind only an abandoned meal and a deep, confounding silence.